How's it going, guys? It's me, CthulhuCrisis, here on the official Jets of Time Twitch channel, where we're going to have a pretty fun contest today. I got with me on commentary with me TBG. TBG, how's it going?
It's going all right. Thanks for asking.
So we are getting ready to get to watch the finals of the Jet Out of Darkness Lost Worlds Plus tournament between Procky and Dipwood. And man, both of these guys are great runners.
Yeah, Procky is just an all-around good gamer, but Dipwood last week was a last-minute entry, and he just killed it.
Yeah, he really did. Um, and yeah, and since then he has set a new world record for the category at I believe it was like a 148, which is an absurd time. Frankly.
Yeah, I didn't know about the world record, but this is definitely going to be an interesting race, knowing that.
And we are taking care of some last minute things here just to make sure our runners are ready up. And we will be seeing a race starting very soon here. I just signaled to the runners, and we will be starting in just a few short seconds.
Oh, we're starting with Robo and Luca. That's a bit of an interesting combination, I would think.
Yeah, I agree. Would you choose that combination?
Um, Early game, I would because you have the physical from Robo and then the magic in theory from Luca, especially if you find like an early 1-year shot.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So Dipwood heading straight to Death's Peak to grab that power tab, as Procky heads straight to Protodome, and Dipwood doing the loop start that I started doing. Um, I think it's worth it. And look, we see a blue male as the first chest of the game.
Okay, so it is kind of starting to look like we've kind of. Oh yeah, yeah. Robo has Oozy Punch already, and Luca has some basic magic, but nothing to complain about too much.
So it's going to be really interesting to see what characters we get. So it's going to be really interesting because I know this is kind of a strange team. Who do you want to add? Ayla is a pretty good option.
Actually, in the last season that I played, I did run with Ayla on my second run through, so I could utilize Boogie through the Golem and the Golem twins, which helped immensely.
Oh yeah, well, and the big reason I pointed out that blue male is in Lost Worlds Plus, we know that they're going to go through Queen Zeal first, and those blue males can be life or death, and a black male, Procky with a black male as well.
Yeah, so yeah, that does help against Zeal because she has her lasers, and doesn't she have like a AoE shadow?
She does. Her auto attacks are darkness or shadow as well. So blackmail makes you absorb her auto attacks.
And everyone's favorite water-based spell, Hexagon Mist. Blue male protects against that.
Yes, absolutely. And that can be like that one move that if you can survive that, it doesn't matter how long it takes you to take her down.
Yeah, just kind of a battle of attrition at that point. Dipwood doing his loot loop, I guess, for lack of a better term, picked up an Aeon Helm.
Wow. such great early game loot already coming out in this seed. I think this is going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. Procky's already looking for his fourth character, looks like. Robo is going to learn Shock next. Oh, man.
Oh, wow. If Chrono's up there and he's got some of his spells, maybe we'll see that dual tech we saw last week come back into play.
Yeah, no one has actually hammered down the correct name for it, so I'm just calling it Ubazop.
It seems like every time it comes up, we have a different name assigned to it.
Yeah, but I mean, again, in my run through, I used it, and man, that tech is worth its weight in gold. Oh, it's a Magus.
It is a Magus. We've been seeing a lot of Magus in this tournament, and every time he tends to use anti-life, I just don't think is great for this event. Oh, I don't know if Dipwood is going to go Dactyl Nest. It'll be interesting. He's going the rest of the loot route.
Yeah, I am seeing what Procky is doing. He swapped out Luca for Magus. Not the move I would have made, but it's a play to be made. Unless he finds, I think it's the blue rock, which is basically the I win button.
Well, my guess is that that this is a temporary swap. Robo will leave after Nizbal, but that gives them lightning for Nizbal.
That is a good point. So I wonder if he's going to spend some time grinding tech points to get Shock.
And I think he probably will. Procky is one of kind of the original Lost Worlds runners as far as the community goes now, and he's always been a big proponent of this right here, this beetle grind right at the start of the run. Get yourself a few techs, make Nizbal easier, and then you take all that extra damage into the other bosses.
Yeah, that's a good strat that I've used on occasion. Also, it's a strat where I will just go in and hope I get a good drill. And if I don't, fight him, reset the room, hey presto.
Did somebody order the diverging routes?
Yeah.
It looks like Dipwood's at least going shopping if he doesn't finish Eris while he's here.
Yeah, he did go shopping in the Earthbound Village. Found big hands, but I don't think you have the cash to pick one up.
Angarel hopping in with, oh, no Super Volt this seed. It does not appear that way.
Yeah, that does make me very
we see
sad.
A reset from Dipwood. Nothing in the shop he wanted, and so he resets rather than running all the way back to that long entrance. With this team, I probably... Well, no. He doesn't have Magus like Procky does. If I was Procky, I would probably be looking at no grind Guardian with this team. Because with Ice 2 and Ayla, Guardian is no problem.
Dipwood is doing some serious shopping. He's heading up to Zeal. Yeah. He's probably...
We're probably missing either mid-tonics or ethers. And we're probably looking for them. And also getting the speed tab while we're here.
Yeah, that's going to be a big thing, is if you can't find any curative items, it's going to be a very tough seed.
Get ready for... Oh, no, we don't get the moonwalk either, because Magus isn't with us.
Oh, no, we have a skateboarding Robo.
Skateboarding Robo. Yeah, and it's interesting because sometimes I'll do Reptite the way Procky is right now, but with this team, I just think Guardian would be a really interesting play. But with early Shock, he may just be trying to get ahead a little bit too. You know, if this is a long seed, that extra XP is going to make a pretty big difference.
Yeah, just spending a little bit of time to grind can, on occasion, come in really, really handy. Again, the race that I just did recently with Koala, he didn't level and just got steamrolled by Zeal.
Yeah, and that can definitely happen. That gauntlet is tougher than it used to be, especially. But we're still under 10 minutes in the seed, and it looks like Procky is heading the rest of the way into the dungeon. Dipwood did check a few things, but he did not get the secret passage to open for him, and decided it was best to head on his way.
Yeah, that does occasionally throw me for a loop, but I think it's, what is it? It's like wind, water, fire, or is it water, fire, wind? Or water, wind? I know the fire is the last one.
I've got it on my guide, so whenever I get close, I pull that up. And we do see Dipwood heading into Reptite Lair to follow Rocky. Will the extra time he took at the stores pay off? Is the real question. Because with this team, I think Procky is making a really smart move here, because with this team, he only really needs to conserve MP or restore MP on Robo to keep the defenses down. Magus starts with a high enough weapon damage that his autos aren't terrible this early in the run. And Ayla, of course, doesn't need a weapon to be pretty strong with autos.
Yeah, this group isn't a bad choice, I don't think. Simply because you have the magic damage with Magus and the physical with Ayla and Robo. And now we have Dark Mist.
Yeah, these are two kind of wildly different teams a little bit. I think Magus brings some things to the table that Luca doesn't, but Luca's also going to be bringing like really nice single target damage with her dual techs.
That, and if she learns Flare, she's just a walking, talking nuke bomb.
And Boogie later, which I think maybe you mentioned.
Yeah, it's a strat that I know that Koala uses. I use it, and I've seen a couple other people use it, where basically it takes those golem fights and turns them into a nothing fight.
Oh yeah. And Dipwood is taking some grind time too, so he's gonna be giving Procky about a dungeon head start, depending how long he decides to grind. And I don't think the shopping paid off the way they were hoping.
No, it's just kind of, none of the shops have anything really super duper useful.
That is one thing with Lost Worlds and Lost Worlds Plus is sometimes the shops don't give you nothing. You're guaranteed shelters and revives at the very start of the run, and then you aren't guaranteed anything after that. Not at this point, at least.
Yeah. One thing I did notice is that Dipwood did not check the new shop.
He did not, but that's pretty far out of the way compared to the Inhasa shop, and it's less likely to have those basic items. It's more likely to have really expensive medicines and things, consumables, but it's not very likely to have like mid-tonics and ethers.
Yeah, so really the only shop I think we have left that might have those things would be the Aristome.
He even checked the Aristome. So, unfortunately, if he didn't find them, I don't think they exist. We'll have to keep an eye and see if he uses some during this grind.
Oh, this is going to be an interesting grind.
And once Procky finishes taking Nizbal down here, we will get our first key item of the run. And that can help decide how long it's going to take, or how many of these checks we're going to be doing. Obviously, the runners are hoping for a clone or a chrono trigger.
Yeah, but I mean, even though it's kind of feels bad if they find the ruby knife or the dreamstone, it's good to have them, or at least good to know where they are.
And Procky getting the chrono trigger.
Oh man, okay, so where next?
I think you probably go Aristome next. But the argument could be made for Son of Sun or Geno.
I think he might be going Son of Sun. Yeah.
Oh, he
yeah,
pulled
yeah.
red vest. He pulled one red vest, which is probably... Oh, and Ayla starts with a ruby vest, so... Yeah, that's pretty great gear to head for an early Son of Sun. It could pay off.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see, although, I mean, in, Jets of Time, turns out that Son of Sun is kind of a nothing fight.
He can be. With this much protection, this should be a pretty quick finish.
Yeah, I mean,
and they're fast.
Yeah, and I mean, Robo has the ruby vest, so, well, he's protected against most everything except for that stupid laser. Looks like Dipwood is starting to make the charge towards Nizbel as well.
He is. And little does he know, he's got a chrono trigger waiting for him at the finish.
Yeah, so I guess we'll see if this continues to diverge. I mean, you never know. Dipwood might do something real crazy and go Mount Woe.
He could. And Guardian's still a very valid option as well.
Yeah, actually, Aristome is never a bad check, because you're getting some decent experience, and you get an item out of it.
And if you do take the time to charge the pendant, you get some pretty nice loot in there. Although, at this point, we don't see a whole lot of people using pendant.
Yeah, it just seems just like a lot of stuff that's out of the way for a questionable return.
Yeah, I think I timed it, and it takes somewhere between 8 and 10 minutes to go charge the pendant and go get all the loot from it in the future. And,
yeah,
like, that's a lot of time, but it can pay off. And it feels like anything you did pull would be more impactful because the second half of this run compared to a normal Lost Worlds. But
yeah, I mean, that can help, but then again, that 9 minutes, depending upon the race, can make or break the race.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
And Procky found himself a ruby knife.
Oh no. Not what you want to see.
Oh, the Aristome is selling mid-tonics?
That's good. Yeah, it looks like Dipwood does not have ethers. And that is what he was looking for in all those shops. So we have a no ether seed. That's painful in this category a little bit.
Yeah, I forget whose strat it is, but he always buys 99 ethers. Was that you?
No, that is not me. It's Taco Hero. He is the master of the 99 ether play.
Hey, it's a play I make too, so it's not bad.
I usually go for somewhere between 30 and 50, depending what text I start the game with.
30, 50, that's pretty good. It's just like ethers though, like if you have like Ayla with Kiss, or Nadia with Cure 2, or Aura, or anything like that. then you can just use ethers and their healing decks to heal yourself up.
So let me ask you this: with these teams, Dipwood doesn't know Magus is on Dactyl Nest. Does that change anything? Like, is one of these teams better than the other for one of the go modes, do you think? In your opinion?
In my opinion, I think the Procky's team would be much better for the second run through. Simply because the Zeal fight, if you have Negus, I mean, yeah, you get the music, but he doesn't have very many single attacks, so he's basically a healer. So I would hold him off for Lavos. Whereas Dipwood's team, he has a lot of single attacks, including dropkick. No. Anyway, he has a lot of single attacks, so this team would probably be better for the first run.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And he still has AoE as and Dipwood picking up his chrono trigger here. So now he is about a dungeon and a half behind, potentially, depending where things shake. Although the Son of Sun ended up kind of being a wild goose chase, so he may not be as behind as he could have been.
Yeah, if he skips Son of the Sun and actually decides to go, say, like, Aerosdome, that's something real crazy and goes like Genodome, or any of those kind of off-the-wall checks that you wouldn't normally expect, he could be ahead.
Reminder to everybody that Jet Out of Darkness is supporting American Foundation for Suicide Prevention with this tournament and the other events we've been doing this month. And we won't have any more going on the official channel. Today is the end of this tournament. Real quick, let's see what Procky gets from his Guardian fight here.
Simon says pendant.
It's the pendant. I don't think we're gonna see that pendant get charged.
I don't think so. Like I always say, I mean, can it help you? Well, yeah, but then you only have like, what is it, like 1 or 2 pendant doors? I'm not going to charge all the way into the Hour Stone to check that door. It's just
I think it gets you something like 6 or 7 chests if you do all 3. But the Aerostone one seems to be the highest tier, or I seem to at least feel like I get better stuff out of the Aerostone one because it's more out of the way. But I think it is a slightly higher tier, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, I mean, the items could be worth it, but the operative word there is could. It could also be a complete flop. And Procky in the Genodome, and Dipwood doing Son of Sun, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see if Dipwood follows in Procky's shadow, and it'll also be interesting to see if that is what happens. Does Dipwood's team make a big difference, or like a big enough difference? Oh, actually, yeah. Does Dipwood's team make a big enough difference to get through, or to make up enough time in Black Omen? And that we don't know.
That's going to be tough. I think a lot of it banks on whether or not Luca is going to learn Flare or not.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But either way, it looks like you have the Luca, the Ava Robo combo, which is actually a really, really good setup for Undersea Palace. And Ava learned Charm, which I've always found interesting. Do you ever use Charm in a race setting, or not so much?
I do. If I'm in a fight, like let's say I have Ayla as like my 3rd team member and I'm going through Hecarim Cave, I'll take Ayla with me and she'll charm Hecarim twice while everybody else hits, and then she'll turn into a pharmacist, and Dipwood picking up his ruby knife. So yes, I'll use charm in those instances because it can be pretty incredible loot.
Yeah, I've had some decent loot drop from charm, especially like if I'm bringing like she's my team and she doesn't have anything really useful to do, which doesn't happen that often, but it has been known to happen.
Sure.
Just have her charmed and see if you come up with any decent loot.
Yeah, it's worth a gamble if her turn is going to be wasted time anyway. You might as well take the 5 or 10 seconds. I mean, you'd walk 5 or 10 seconds out of the way to get an extra chest if it was a high tier chest.
Absolutely, and I mean, like if you roll really lucky on her charm and end up with like a prison dress or two, then that's time well spent.
Yeah, or even silver stud, gold earring. It's a lot of things that this team would really like to have too. I would say the number one thing I would want for this team would probably be a dash ring for Robo. I think that's the thing that would make the biggest difference on Procky's side. And
yeah,
on Dipwood's side, I'd almost want the same item, but for Luca.
Yeah, one thing that I found that... Ooh. Oh, give me just a second.
See Dipwood taking on Guardian as Procky continues his way through Genodome. And he's got pretty great gear. He's got a gold earring. I didn't see where he pulled all of that, but he's pulled some great gear so far.
The gold earring, I believe he got from I think he got that from Son of Son, if memory serves.
Wow. That almost makes it worth the time. That and knowing that you need to go there for the second part of the run.
Yeah.
Gold earring was from Guardian. Dipwood just got himself one.
Well, that's definitely not a bad thing to have. Who do you give it to? I'm not sure.
Robo, if you find a crisis arm. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, for sure.
Procky going for the one cycle here and nailing it saves you a trip there. If you can do it quick enough, you can just do it all in one go. And he's going for the conveyor skip. Let's see if he can nail this. I don't think we've seen this succeed.
Yeah, this is almost
tournament.
like I think you're he almost
wow. He's probably going to give it a go. I think Procky goes for it 2 or 3 times. Because then it still saves time.
I would give it like 2, maybe 3, and then it's just a better option, in my opinion, to, just go the normal way. I mean, yeah, you have to fight some lasers, which can be very perilous, but in the end, it's probably faster. Not quite again.
I think you have the time to try it 3 or 4 times and still save time if you get it. But if you try 4 times and then you have to do it the other way, you're absolutely right it feels a little shameful. But it's a really hard trick. It's very precise, and he nails it. And a haste helm.
Put that on Robo. That's how I roll.
I'd be real tempted to put it on, yeah, it would be good on Robo, but you could make an argument to put it on any of them. I may even put it on Ayla. It's not, just because she's going to be your biggest damage dealer for a lot of these fights.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, Ayla is a decent damage dealer, but then again, so is Magus. But your healer is going to be Robo. So in a pinch, if you need like a cure beam or a heal beam or something like that, having the haste helm on him can save your bacon. It has for me on multiple occasions.
Man, Procky making short work of the Genodome as he heads down to the basement to face off with Mother Brain.
Yeah, speed tabs on Robo, and wow. Magus and Ayla are both, like, I think 13 and 12 speed, respectively.
It's like this seed felt bad for not putting ethers in the shops. And so it's like, well, here's all the loot you could possibly need.
Yeah, I mean, that haste sound could... Oh, yep, he put it on Robo, so everyone's just wicked fast. The question I have, though, is dark matter. That wasn't a question. That was a random rainbow. Good lord, what is this seed? But yeah, back to the $1,000,000 question: is are you gonna go back into the Genodome to get a second one on your second run through, or are you just gonna forego it and hopefully your team is fast enough?
That's a really good question. I think you do not. I think it's too long. The conveyor sequence is too long.
Yeah, I mean, it is long, and
you're
honestly,
probably not going to save that amount of time from having it.
Yeah, and really the only person who really needs it is Robo, because again, Ayla, Magus, they're like, 12, 13 speed, which is fast enough.
Yeah, that's a really good point too. I think a team like Dipwoods may be more likely to go for that because they could really use the extra speed. But even then, I don't know that you save enough time by having it, because you're gonna go into Lavos at a high level anyway. Proccy starting the Mother Brain fight, and with this team, I haven't seen if he has Uzi Punch, but I know he's got Triple Kick. And this boss having somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 HP.
Robo did start with Uzi Punch as his second attack.
Well, then this will not last long. And you see him using Dark Bomb to only destroy one panel and hit Mother Brain.
Yeah, that whole enraged Mother Brain after you kill all of the terminals, that can be a bad thing.
Yeah, it can. I don't know that I've ever had Mother Brain be like a wall in a Jets run though. She can be in a vanilla run if you're AoEing everything at that point in the game. But I don't know that I've ever seen Mother Brains be like a terribly challenging fight, and we see her drop mostly because the other enemies in the dungeon are so high level or do enough damage that, like, if you can get through them, you can get through her. And there is our clone. That is Go Mode 1 for Proccy. And he is going to probably just go straight to Mount Woe. Oh, he's making a pit stop somewhere first. Maybe Zeal. Is he gonna charge Pendant? Because he's...
he could charge Pendant. He could be going shopping at the new shop.
I think if you're gonna go this way to shop, you might as well maybe charge the Pendant. In a seed with no ethers, you could sure use some gold studs.
Yeah, there was a shop that was selling gold studs for like, what was it, like 30k? I forget where it was.
Oh, there's a Wonder Shot!
Oh, yes! The Hyper Ether.
He's not gonna buy it. He doesn't have enough.
Well, I mean, that's good news for Dipwood.
Yeah, somebody send Dipwood an email.
He's once he finds it, he'll probably be really kicking himself that he didn't go and check it earlier when he had the chance.
Ooh, Dipwood taking some fierce hits from these turrets. Not fast enough. With an AoE without Magus.
I hate those turrets,
but he made it through.
Just barely, but those turrets, man, they just they can wipe you very, very easily.
Where is Procky off to? Oh, looks like maybe now he's on his way to Deathbeam. But he
Yeah.
did not charge the pendant. It was not worth the extra trek to him.
To be honest, I don't blame him in this instance because, I mean, we just talked about it. It's a long walk for maybe decent. I see Flare.
And the Tupac.
Ah, yes.
Everyone's favorite time machine, the Tupac.
So
a Procky classic.
So this is interesting. With Procky's team, you have Magus with Dark Matter. That's not a bad tech to have. But over on Dipwood's side, Luca knows Flare. So at this point, does that kind of make Magus obsolete? I think it might.
I think it would potentially, because nothing in Black Omen resists fire, whereas there are several different encounters that you can't skip that resist shadow. But Magus also brings some other versatility. I think, given that you're not guaranteed to get Flare, I understand why Procky's sticking with the team he's got. But I don't think it's necessarily a bad call.
It's really tough, but for my money, I would actually take Luca because, as you said, there's a lot of enemies in the Black Common that resist shadow, and if Dark Matter is going to be your powerhouse when you fight the goons, you're kind of stuck. I mean, you could shock.
Yeah, he'll
them,
have.
But
some of the encounters resist shock too. Ooh, he just barely clips into that fight.
yeah, that one is kind of a hard skip to get, but I can usually nail it. Yeah, tech-wise, Magus. Well, actually, game-wise, Magus and the Black Almond, maybe not the best choice.
He'll do fine for like the mutants and everything. Ooh, another amulet. That'll be nice for part 2. It'll be interesting to see, because that would really be with how much Dipwood has kind of followed Procky's routing a little bit. Not intentionally, of course, but with him kind of being behind him kind of this whole run, it'll be interesting to see if that will make a difference that's noticeable as far as catching up for Dipwood goes.
Yeah, but the biggest problem with Magus in the Black Almond is Zeal 2. Well, basically, at that point, he's a healer, and you're letting Robo and Ayla do the damage.
That's true, but both of them can deal some pretty great damage, and he can just be on, yeah, like throwing items, doing anti-life. If he happens across a green dream, that can be a nice spike in damage to beat that halation timer.
It's just kind of it's a bit of a gamble, and I used to like to do it. Like in the vanilla game, it makes sense to me, just because of the storyline. But this is a race, so faster is better.
It's true. It'll be interesting to see. I definitely think this team is really strong for Elder Lavos spawn, which we are about to face here in a minute. Because Magus can really take the L with anti-life and deal a pretty absurd amount of damage single target. And then with Uzi Punch and Triple Kick, that'll be a pretty quick fight, I think. It'll be interesting to see how the rest of this goes.
Yeah.
Magus also has the speed to kill the turrets outside the Black Omen.
That is a good point, because again, those turrets, they can do some bad things.
Oh, mermaid cap.
That's some more protection against hexagon mist.
Robot getting stuck on Dipwood's side. He is full on stuck in the wall. He's probably gonna have to reset the room, it looks like.
Looks like that's what he's doing.
Yep. Unfortunate, but that robot is not very smart.
No, Bumperbot is a bit irritating, but not as like irritating or as hateful as the rat in the Aurus Dome.
Dipwood deciding that maybe he should take the vanilla way instead of having the robot go over the nubs. Let's just take him around the whole hall.
Yeah, I mean, the nubs is a cool, neat little trick, but if you get stuck, it's just a time loss.
It is. It's pretty rare that happens, but, you know, these robots definitely have a mind of their own. So we see the triple kick coming down on Lavos spawn here.
She's doing close to 13 total, I believe.
Uzi punch on the beak as well. Not too shabby.
Yeah, so Ava's doing, I want to say about 900, 1,000 damage, and Robo's doing like 740, and Magus is just running pharmacy, I guess.
Yeah, he's throwing mid-ethers around. As Dipwood goes through the laser grid, or the laser gauntlet, to get to Mother Brain, where he will also be finding his first go mode. And Proccy is a little over 1 death's peak ahead of Dipwood.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of curious. Like, is that insurmountable for Dipwood? I don't think it is.
I don't think so. So let's look at it this way. At 40-50, we see Proccy starting the Death's Peak.
Yeah, so we have like the Black Almond starting for Proccy, and Dipwood is in a bad spot. Oh no, he won.
Unfortunate.
Oh.
Did he save right before those?
I don't remember if he did or not.
We'll have to see if he saved.
He looks like he did.
Looks like he saved before he started this way.
So
hopefully this isn't the save from earlier before he did the robot.
Oh, yeah, that just goes to show how dangerous those laser guards can be.
Well, especially, I mean, look, you have he's running a team that doesn't have the best of AoE, and the AoE it does have is behind a really slow team. So, like, Luca has, like, a speed of, like, 8 or 9 with any speed tabs he's equipped. And Robo is going to have a pretty low speed, too. I think he starts off at, like, a 6. So, both the characters that have an AoE that would take him out can't get it to it in time.
Yeah, you're right, because the haste doesn't actually kick in until Robo's second turn. I forgot about that.
Ooh, a Lapis just barely out of the way. That's so worth it.
Yeah, they picked up, I want to say, like 2 or 3, maybe 4 Lapises over the course of the run, and the Lapises are super important for, like, getting you over the halation hump or anything in the levels, right? Yeah, Lepsis have saved by big on little occasion.
Angarel swooping in with the info. It is a base speed of 6 for Robo in vanilla, but it's buffed to 8 in Jets, which is great. And Procky having no trouble at the entrance, whereas we can already see Dipwood is going to struggle getting into the Black Omen a little bit, perhaps, if he doesn't have some gear to offset that speed. I mean, that fight he's going to have to go up against, I think, has 6 turrets or 6 lasers.
It's 6 guards, and they're fast enough that if you don't have someone who's really wicked fast, like Magus, or like in AoE with Ayla, you're going to take some hits, and it's going to be dicey whether or not you can pull it off or not.
Looks like Dipwood going back up to take a couple encounters, or at least take one encounter. Is he dipping out of Gino? Oh, no, I was right. That save he had was before he had gotten the dolls.
Oh, no.
That is unfortunate.
Dipwood, no.
Most unfortunate. I think we've all probably done it once. At least once.
You do it once, and then you never do it again.
Gotta send out my bad seed emote.
Who wrote the seed, by the way?
What's that?
I was asking who wrote the seed.
Oh, I rolled the seed.
You're fired.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Laser guards again. Just, oh, man.
And we are at $240 raised out of our $300 goal, which is just phenomenal. The original goal was $200, but we were raising so quickly that I went ahead and bumped it up. And this has been fantastic doing these events. Oh, look at that messed up sprite. There's a messed up sprite on that robot on Dipwood's screen. Ooh, the haste helm going on Magus.
Must be banking on his magic. Aren't they coming up on the Giga Mutant here pretty soon?
They will be here shortly, yeah. We'll have a couple fights coming up that'll kind of decide things.
That might be actually why he put the haste on Mega, so that he could run away from these fights faster. I have noticed that the haste helm does make a difference on how quickly you can run away from fights.
Unfortunately, we have the forfeit from Dipwood. He just knew he had lost a lot of time in that Geno Dome, so unfortunately, Dipwood has forfeited, which means Procky will be our tournament winner.
Yeah,
You hate to see it that way.
Yeah, it's just kind of, I mean, in that kind of a situation, though, what can you do?
Yeah, I mean, you lost a whole dungeon of progress, and I completely understand that decision. So, oh, a Vigil hat coming out for Procky.
That is not a bad piece of equipment.
It is not.
Doesn't that protect the Swallow, too? Man, what is the seed? What is it? What did you do? What have you done?
What have I done?
So, it does feel bad that the dipwood forfeited, but do you think we're going to see Procky go all the way? Um, isn't that one of the conditions to win is you have to actually finish the seed?
Absolutely. I would say so.
I know that that's how it is in Super Metroid. I wasn't sure if that was how it is here. Were they selling Terra Arms at the new shop? I think they did.
Oh my.
I for sure saw the Terra Arm, and to be honest with you, I would much rather run Robo with the Terra Arm than the Crisis Arm, because the damage is more consistent. With the Crisis Arm, I mean, you could have, like, a great lineup. You get hit, and then you suddenly do no damage.
I'm going to try to do something here.
Yeah, this chest I've seen do a couple different things.
Yeah, you can say that again.
Yeah, Dipwood in the last game skipped it, and didn't it have, like, the Crisis Arm in it?
It did have a Crisis Arm in it. And it's another Vigil hat. We have full status protection. That's phenomenal.
Well, I would say status protection on 2 people, give one the haste helm, and you're good to go. And a big hand for Robo. I'm not going to take that low-hanging fruit this time.
No, a big hand for Robo.
Gloom Helm for Magus. That is another good piece of equipment. And he's just plowing through. Not taking a whole lot of time, a lot of extra battles. Do you think he knows that the Dipwood has forfeited? Like, can he see that, or?
He does. He can see that, so he is aware. But Procky's always gonna finish strong with a 3rd Vigil hat.
Oh, this. Wow.
I once had that segment be all rainbows on a seed I didn't have chrono. I got like 5 rainbows in a row and I clipped it.
Oh, that always feels bad. It's like, I have like 17 rainbows and chrono's nowhere to be found. I've had that happen with Terra Arms too, where like I picked up like at least a dozen Terra Arms because they were in the Undersea Palace grind area. And as it turns out, you can't sell Terra Arms.
No, you cannot.
Yeah, this was on a World Power Sheet, so Giga Mutant. Let's see how this goes down. No, nothing too terribly exciting. AoE Magic and Ayla toss some ethers. Or she can actually toss a couple of triple kicks. Just triple kick I've seen has been the difference between winning in 2 turns or 3 turns.
fixing a couple things here for the rest, for the viewing pleasure of the rest of this run.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this Giga Mutant fight isn't going to be too terribly interesting. It's just, dark matter, shock, some heals. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when it's being executed this well, there's not a whole lot of concern about him right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate but true. I mean, are we going to see anything different with like the Terra Mutant?
Perhaps.
Well, in my experience, the Terra Mutant is actually an easier fight than the Giga Mutant.
It definitely can be.
Ayla learned something, and I didn't see there were any. Cure Beam, Heal Beam is super important. At least it is in my games. Because if you don't have an AOE heal, you're in trouble.
Well, with those lapises, they'll definitely help. But you're right that it makes it tougher, but he is going to have Robo with Heal Beam, hopefully, by the end of this.
Well, the big difference is I think you only have, what is it, like, 4 Lapises?
That's true. That's true, so you are limited on how often you can use them.
Whereas with the Heal Beam, as long as you have Ethers, you can keep doing that AoE heal.
Yeah, with Ethers being a bit of a commodity, he did buy some mid Ethers because, frankly, you have to.
Yeah, I mean, like, we have seen what happens when you don't have the right equipment. Where, like, you get to the Lavos fight or to the Zeal fight, and it all just falls apart. That was a good goon skip there.
There we go. Since Rocky is the only runner, we'll go ahead and shift things over to a little bit better showcase screen here. As we enter just under an hour into this run, and we are well on our way to our first final boss.
Yeah, Beast Toss is doing a bunch of damage.
Beast Toss is a very good ability. A very good skill.
Assuming you can use it, because there's some enemies like the panels you can't use it on them because they're attached to the wall. Though the argument could be said, Sabin, has suplexed a train in every run ever. Oh, and we are starting the Terra Mutant fight here.
Okay, got everything transitioned. Sorry. Yeah, Beast Toss does have Beast Toss does have a pretty cool animation. And this fight is fun.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but like the Terra Mutant fight to me has always been easier than the Giga Mutant fight.
It can be, though he's more likely to play status shenanigans. So if you don't have status protection, this guy can surprise you, because I think he also has a spell that can hit for like almost 1,000 damage. Single target.
Yeah, I've had that. I've seen that happen, and I think it's a fire-based.
I think it's called dodgeball. That's what it looks like. Is he just throws a bunch of dodgeballs at you?
Yeah, but I've seen it happen. Had it happen a couple times. It can be dicey if you don't have any revives on hand. And Terra Mutant is down.
Ooh, a Doomsicle for his trouble.
Ooh, isn't that Magus' bad? Oh, and a Prism Helm?
Do you need a Prism Helm when you got 3 Vigil Hats?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Why would you not? I mean, like, the Prism Helm was like the Vigil Hat plus.
I want a Chrono character with 2 heads who can equip 2 helmets. And then I can put 2 Vigil Hats on.
Crowley, like, you know, the fusion of Croto and Nadia.
Perhaps. Get one. Shimmy saying 1 head is just Mojo from Chrono Cross. Just a straw head.
You know, I've never actually played Chrono Cross. Is it worth a play in your opinion, or do you know?
People are gonna tell you I'm pretty biased. I like it. I think it's a masterpiece on its own. It doesn't spoon feed you the connections to Chrono Trigger. And it kind of leaves you a world to explore. And the story is a bit convoluted. But there's something special in that game, I think. I think it's worth visiting.
I did see a run of it, and I saw that there are some callbacks, like the old man is obviously Balthazar, and Glenn, that's another obvious callback.
Yeah.
The prevailing theory is that Chrono Cross is a great game, not a very good sequel.
I think they were going for the Final Fantasy style sequel of same world, or you know, kind of it's same world, different characters, different problem kind of thing. And I don't know, there's some really cool stuff in that game, and then there's some stuff I don't mind. But I think a lot of it was critically acclaimed, has really a lot of a bit of a cult following. It's not quite as beloved as Trigger, and I can see that. Trigger's so elegant as we see Elder Lava Spawn go down, and that means we're heading into our final boss.
Mammon Machine, well, Zeal 1, Mammon Machine, Zeal 2.
Our final boss gauntlet.
Now, the Mammon Machine has really turned into a game changer. If you are not on your game and doing things as quickly as you can, you will die. That's just how it is.
Yeah, it can definitely cause you trouble.
Yeah, since the update, it has been. It's been doing a lot of trouble, because before it was just, like, you could kill it before it did anything.
I think it's a little too highly tuned right now, but it's not too bad of a spot right now. You can beat it, you just have to give it a little bit of respect. That's all it asks is your respect.
The problem with the respect, though, is if you give it too much respect and, give it plenty of time, it will use point flare, and that will kill you. Well, one
A
at a
valid
time.
point.
Yeah, it will kill you one at a time, but it does it like twice in a turn. And that can be very dangerous.
Zeal 1 is the new Mammon machine. We don't respect her at all.
Well, have we ever, though? Because I don't think she can actually kill you. Like, she uses Halation and then absorbs MP, and that's about as far as it goes. I know, maybe she's, saving it for the Zeal 2 fight, or who knows?
Well, Angerel would be able to say for sure, but I thought there was something about, there's something else in her programming, but we just never see it. But I could be mistaken on that. But somebody said that, and I never fact-checked it, so...
It would be interesting to know if she, because the way she is now, she's just kind of a time sink, really.
She does make you kind of decide if you want to enter Mammon Machine damaged, but if you get the menu glitch, it won't be a concern anyway.
Yeah,
he's just going straight for the damage on Mammon.
That can be dangerous, but if you're doing enough damage, in a short enough amount of and he didn't do enough damage in a short amount of time, so.
But he survived well and above what he needed.
Oh, this is where things. This is kind of where you need to really turn up the heat, because Mammon Machine stands still. Next up is 2-point flares.
Oh, he's going for it. You know, we're at 106.32 right now, which is very close to what the world record on Lost Worlds is. We're not going to see it this time, but this is an incredible run coming out of Procky right now.
Yeah, it's just, this execution is just, man.
And he knows where Go Mode 2 is. It's Son of Sun holds the ruby knife, and then the Dreamstone has to be Mount Woe. So we're going to see Mount Woe on the second run, and that's going to be interesting, because there could be some good gear up there, but do you even need it? Ooh, Robo taking a point there to the face.
And he's sleepy. Oh, good. Three revives, oh boy.
I didn't catch how many megas he had, but he can use those. He's got 2 megas, so he's safe to use them both in this fight, knowing he'll have them back for the second run.
Let's see if this one takes out... Oh, nope, megas is still good to go.
Yeah, and shouldn't have any trouble now.
Yeah, because it does 2-point flares, and then it goes back to modifying all energy. Or it just dies, that's a thing too.
Yeah, absolutely. As we head into Zeal 2 with a team that, frankly, I think is going to do pretty well at Zeal 2.
It does give you the music, but as I said like earlier in the run, Magus is basically going to be your healer, and your damage dealers are going to be Ava and Robo.
Good damage dealers to have, though, for single target. I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah, the new 02 always is. The only thing that's bugging me about this
So
fight
we're
right
hitting
now,
for 1500 with triple kick. Now, for those who are not in the know, in this fight, you're really in a race to get 10k damage off on the face. If you do that correctly, then you won't get hit with Hexagon Mist, and she will skip that part and go straight into Halation, which is what you want to see. Right now we're at, I think, about somewhere between 5 and 5.5k damage.
yeah, I mean, everyone's doing about 1,000. Dark Bomb is actually being a lot more effective than I would have expected.
Yeah, Dark Bomb is very good for this fight because it doesn't hit either of the hands. Skygate Lightning, and then I think we see the gears, and then typically we see Hexagon Mist. So this fight's really interesting because it's predictable. You know what she's gonna do, and you don't exactly know when she's gonna auto attack like she did to Robo there, but you know kind of what her AI is doing. And we get the halation, that means we're at 10k. And he made it through the hardest part of the fight. He goes ahead and mega elixirs right away. You can also wait for this MP buster that's coming, but if an auto comes in at the same time, you could lose a character and end up in a heal loop. So
yeah, that
he takes
is,
the safe
and just toss a Hyper Ether, and you're right back where you need to be.
Now he should be able to just kind of focus on damage and take him out as Queen Zeal recharges Robo's batteries for him.
You know, in the vanilla game, you can actually charm Prison Hounds and Prison Ghosts from the hands.
Oh, that's cool. At this point, it's just a matter of getting those inputs in, dealing that damage, and finishing this first run.
Shouldn't take very much longer now. I mean, they're just doing scads of damage. And there is our first run.
Yep, so the timer does not stop here. We go directly to the credits, and when he restarts here, you'll slowly but surely see all the tracking items, except we'll see most of the tracking items disappear here. And we are back to Robo and Luca. Now, that's another interesting aspect of this. Because he went and he used both the available characters, if he wants that same team, he's got to go get both those characters again.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see if he does actually go and get Magus. I mean, Magus is a powerhouse, don't get me wrong.
He may not go for Magus at all. He may just stick with this team and know that he's going to get Flare in the run. Because he's got a lot of tech points along the way. There's a good chance he gets Flare. It'll be interesting to see what he decides to do, because he also knows Zeal Shop has Wonder Shots. That should maybe go into your decision.
Yeah, but again, going back to what I was talking about way earlier in the run, this I would rather go with Magus for this second run, and Final Chance did mention the holy blue rock, which have we seen the blue rock at all? I didn't see it anywhere.
Well, I don't know if they picked up the rock in Black Omen. I don't think Procky did. That skip often, or that chest often gets skipped to save a couple seconds. Because they do transfer to New Game Plus. We are going to see some items do not, and it'll be interesting to see if any of them are ones that he was banking on. And now, will he remember where all of our items are? It looks like he's at least heading straight for Son of Sun. So he knows the ruby knife's there. And then it's gotta be Woe, because that's the only check he didn't do.
Yeah,
now this is a significantly slower team. And I think he is just sticking with this team. He's not going to go get Magus. And I think that's fine, because Blaze Kick will do enough damage to get through pretty much everything in between them once he gets Blaze Kick.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad team, just not the team that I personally would go with. But you do have a good point. Like, you have Blaze Kick, and you have Robo to keep you alive.
Yeah,
really
and then you get
to...
Fire Whirl for a lot of situations that he's going to run into in the second fight, or in the second run. Giga Gaia, Fire Whirl can work well for that if he doesn't just flare. And then he also has it for Black Tyranno if he decides to use it. So it'll be interesting, because this team does have some advantages.
So, we know that Procky knows where the one-shot is. Do you think he'll make a small detour up, or will he just do that all the way to the Undersea Palace?
I think he'll just do it on the way to the Undersea Palace. That would be my guess anyway. We do see Son of Sun go down. Lapis, Rainbow Helm, Flame Kick, all acquired in that fight.
Not a bad haul.
And a ruby knife.
Just missing the Dreamstone, and that's it.
And we know who has that.
Yep. Yes, we do.
My favorite dungeon in the game.
Now, I like Mount Woe because of all the loot it has, but I have yet to figure out a route that doesn't trigger every fight in the dungeon.
No, there's a few encounters you can skip, and you'll see Procky, I think, knows Mount Woe pretty well at this point. But there are definitely some fights you can skip, but there's a lot of fights you have to get into and run. And then the Rubbles are optional. I doubt we'll see the Rubbles unless he has Flare in sight.
Yeah, I don't know if Flare is in sight or not. I think that the first tech that Luca learns is Hypno Wave, and then after that it must be Flare, because it wasn't very far down the tree.
Yeah, because I know Dipwood had access to it pretty quick.
So I would expect I would expect a couple Rubble fights, and then once he gets Flare, he's just gonna go mode it.
Yeah, well, especially if he can get double tech point gains from one of the Rubbles, he'll probably take it. Which, for those who aren't aware, in this game, let's say you need 25 tech points to learn your next tech on a character, and you get 50, it fills up the 25 you need, and then it pushes you to the next tech and gives you those all 50 points again. So it's not quite doubling, but it does get you additional tech points that you didn't necessarily earn.
Okay, I never knew the mechanics of that, now I do.
And it can happen more than once, like if you're 10 tech points away and you go to Woe early, and you get the 50 tech points, that gets you that tech and the next tech, and then it'll do it again. So like, it's interesting. We see him just running straight up. There's the first encounter you can skip right there, using that wall. This encounter you cannot. You can run from almost every encounter. I think every encounter up you can run from, which is convenient.
That has been my experience. It's very nice that someone is fast enough to run away from those gargoyles before they use their continuous tech.
Yes.
Which won't kill you, but man, is it irritating.
Yeah, it takes you down to 1 health. And they love to do it to your whole team. We are going to come up and grab these chests, because these are usually can be pretty good. And he is grabbing the rebel fight.
Yeah, I noticed that he skipped 2 of them. I wonder if he just did that because he didn't want to get into any additional fights.
Could be. He's probably just going to hit the ones along the way, and he must feel pretty confident that he's going to get everything he needs. Because, you know, you've got Tyranno Lair, there's Flare, so now he probably won't even hit anymore, frankly.
I don't think so, but yeah, but that was exactly what you talked about. It's like he got the few tech points he needed for Hypno Wave, and then it all dropped in, and he just instantaneously got Flare, which is really nice.
So he got major boost in tech points by taking that rebel fight.
Yeah, that is a strat that's actually used a lot in the vanilla Jets of Time, in the Hecarim Cave, especially with Magus.
Oh yeah. Well, and you'll see it in Lost Worlds Plus sometimes. Because you can get to dungeons like Mount Woe really early. Like if I start with a heavy AoE team like Magus and Luca or something like that, where I know I can get through Giga Gaia if I get the techs I need, you can do Woe first or second. Like Chakosura does Woe first a lot, and it's a really interesting idea because that tech doubling means if I do Woe second, I get all my techs like before the end of Woe, or almost all of them. I'll be missing like 3 or 4 techs across my whole team.
Yeah, basically you get the techs that you need.
Yeah, exactly. And then you'll get the other techs in the other dungeons. In most cases. And then just really good loot is usually found here. For those who seek it out. Moon armor.
Like, Moon armor is good to have. Not as good as Nova armor, but you take what you can get. I've seen multiple tabs at this point.
Vigil hat.
And another Vigil hat, so we have, what, 4 now?
If they carry over. I believe they carry over.
Do you know if the Prism Helm carries over, or does that not?
Let me pull it up, because I have a list. We were just talking about this in the Discord the other day.
I need to be more active in the Discord.
It does. So the items that do not come over are Slasher, Slasher 2, Tabin Vest, Tabin Suit, Tabin Helm, Aussie Pants, Green Dream, Flea Vest, Seed, Bike Key, and Yakra Key. Those are, and thanks to Angerel for that list that he shared in chat the other day.
So most of the good stuff does carry over. I mean, like Slasher, Slasher 2, those aren't game breakers for me.
Slasher 2 can be, because that 3 speed and really good weapon power, like, that can make your team a lot faster than it should be, and that could make a second run a little more challenging than you'd expect it to.
I don't want to be that guy, but those are the stats for the Swallow. The Slasher 2 doesn't the Slasher 2 does not actually give you any additional speed.
Oh, well then I am mistaken.
It's an easy mistake to make, but like I would in a race, I would take the Swallow. And we're handing out tabs again. And here we go, Giga Gaia. Let's see how this
I
how
think
this
I
goes
have a
down.
feeling how this is gonna go. And it's gonna
Lots of
end with an
flare.
upset Giga Gaia.
Yeah, so I see a lot of flare. I see some Uzi punches. I see some triple kicks, maybe blaze kick. Yeah, it's for Giga Gaia. It's gonna be a bad time.
I think he is one of my favorite boss designs in the whole game, because he's just so silly, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, he does look really silly, and I don't know why they decided to go with that design. Because he's not really intimidating. He's just funny looking.
Yeah, I dig it. I dig it for sure. He looks like a boss from a 2D platformer. Like, you would jump on his hands, and then he'd lift his hands up, and you could attack his face.
Yeah, like a platformer or like a Mega Man game that comes to
Yeah.
mind.
Well, bye, Arms. We won't see you again.
Unless we do. It's been known to happen.
So he's dealing 3k damage in 2 techs. There he goes. Well, it was nice seeing you, Giga Gaia. We came, stole your loot, and now we will be off to another giant helped boss.
Yep, the gigantic tick, and there's the green dream that we needed for Magus.
Next, we'll be hitting Black Tyranno with his randomly generated amount of health.
That's right, I forgot about that. Oh, and his random elemental affinity.
Yep. So this is going to get us the Dreamstone, but not Go Mode.
I noticed that the grammar in that was wrong. It should be a Dreamstone, not an Dreamstone.
Oh, yeah. So we got the Dreamstone, and we are off to Tyranno Lair, and I don't think Tyranno Lair will hold much difficulty for Procky.
This is another dungeon that I need to learn because, again, I managed to trigger every fight. And I mean every fight.
This is probably, other than Black Omen, just based on how long it is, this is probably the hardest one to learn, because some of the individual skips are difficult, or if they're not difficult, they're inconsistent.
Yeah, there are players out there who can do them fairly consistently, but they are very few and far between.
Yeah, because like some of the door lineups, it feels like it's chance. But there's a couple of the movement rooms in here that are just a little bit complex, but once you get them, yeah, you can get consistent at them. Another mermaid cap, but in an area that it's not going to be too helpful for the rest of this run.
Unless Black Tyranno is throwing around Hexagon Mist, in which case
That's
you
true.
reset and put them on.
That's very true.
Yeah, you can imagine my surprise as a Wii Jets of Timer, and I equip all my fire equipment, and Black Tyranno's throwing ice.
Green Dream.
So that's 2 green dreams now.
Just barely missing that one. That one, you really got to hug that wall.
And that's the upper wall, not the lower wall, I believe.
Yeah, you can do the upper wall on that.
Yeah, the lower walls will get you fights. All of the fights.
And then once you get underneath this doorway, it's a matter of lining up on these particular bricks and the pallet that you see him run onto, and straight into that door. Hits the right button to avoid the encounter there. And then we're going to see him kind of line up in the center here. And that one is inconsistent. You've got to press A on like the same frame you enter the door trigger, and it just doesn't feel like you get it every time, even once you have the timing down. As we head into Nizbal 2.
Which is... I don't know about you, but every time I've gotten into a fight with Nizbal 2, it was way easier than the fight against Nizbal 1.
Yeah, he does have different AI in this fight for sure. But mainly you want to just hit him as hard as you can with spells until he releases, and then you can hit him with whatever you want typically.
Yeah, it's like physical attacks, you saw the Robo Tackle and it did kind of big load of nothing.
Shock coming out. Shock. I like Shock. I think it's a pretty good tech. Robo doesn't have the best magic stat, but it still does good AoE damage.
Yeah, it is a good stand-in for like Lightning 2 or Luminaire.
Well, and also it's one of the stronger lightning attacks because, frankly, I believe he's got a better magic stat than Chrono does. And Magus's Lightning 2 is the power's cut in half.
Yeah, so I mean, when it comes to spells like that, I think I'd rather take that character, especially with Chrono, because if you have Lightning 2 and Shock, well, we've all seen how that goes down.
So on that section where he got that encounter, you want to almost do a zigzag down. You want to like almost make a V, and you have to do it very precise or you end up getting the fight like what happened there. But then he gets in this right door, hits that save point in the switch, and then lines back up to make sure he doesn't hit those buttons. And this one, you line up, run straight up, consistent every time, feels like.
Yeah, that was pretty slick.
Yeah, you can line up perfectly by just running into that bottom alcove. That'll set you up perfect each time.
More things I need to remember.
And now we head up into the Black Tyranno fight. And on the other side of this is Go mode.
Yeah, I don't know how I forgot about the Tyranno there. That would be one of those things that I'd go to Zeal and be like, what now?
I did my first Lost Worlds run. I went all the way up to Zeal, thought I had it, and I was like, what? And then I got told. No fire world.
No fire world yet.
Nope. But he was looking for it. He was hoping he had it to deal some extra damage through Black Tyranno here. Because it does ignore his defense, which is such a nice feature of it.
Oh, that is...
Yeah, it works on Black Tyranno before Zala's gone, and it also works on Right Bit in the Lavos 3 fight. Or Lavos. The main Lavos fight.
Lavos 3.
Yeah.
I've always thought it weird that right bit is the one calling the shots. I always think it's the center one, but it's not.
Yeah, I think they want you to think that when you're first playing, you know.
Yeah, it definitely threw me for a loop because I'm a staunch left bitter, so you kill the left bit, and then you kill the center bit, and why is the right bit still here?
Yeah. Yeah, and as a kid, I was always like, oh, I guess you just have to kill all three at the same time. Now I know better.
Yeah, mercifully. Killing all three at the same time? Can you even do that? because the the left bit is healed by magic, but the other two are not. Um, I, I must research this.
There he goes.
Sight cap, napalm. Nothing to write home about.
Now, do we know, does Ayla have Dino Tail? Because we hope she does, going into the Ocean Palace for that elevator.
I believe she does.
Good. Yeah, I guess she was through the whole first round, so she almost certainly has all her techs. Luke is probably the only one learning anything.
Yeah, I'm wondering what techs are needed still for Fire Whirl. Is it Fire 2 or?
It's Fire 2, yep. So we should see that here, but I don't know if it'll be terribly useful for him now.
Well, as you said, it does work against the right Lavos bit, but whether or not you would use it,
probably not when you're this high a level.
Well, thinking on it, you would probably want to focus on the center bit because the center bit just does horrible, terrible things.
Well, and that's the reason, like, that's a strategy I'd come up with right when Season 3.0 came out, is the Fire Whirl. We call it Cthulhu's Gambit. And the reason it's nice is because it does solid damage to right bit while hitting center bit as well. So, like, in my testing, it was doing, like, 3.5k to center bit, and then, like, 3k to right bit. And so you could do that 2 or 3 times, kill center bit, and have, like, 6 or 7k damage on right bit when its defense goes down.
So,
but it's not for every run, and when you're this high a level, you're probably better off just 2-shotting center and pushing through.
Is he?
He got it.
Bought himself a wonder shot.
And grabbing some elixirs.
Not
probably pretty good purchases.
Did you see if he equipped the wonder shot?
He has not equipped it yet, no.
Yeah, it's one thing that I've seen happen more than once, and it's just like, I want to scream at them, like, equip your stuff. But again, I can be really bad about that as well, especially in, like, say, ES3, where you spend all your money on all this excellent gear and forget to equip it. And then you wipe and you cry. Emphasis on the cry. Equip the wonder shot.
he may just not need it yet.
Well, to be honest, this fight probably not. He's gonna probably boogie Golem and then just go to town.
He may not even take the time to boogie, but I think I would. I think you're right. That would be a good play. And he is. He is gonna go right for it. Dance party.
Get down. Yeah, for a long time I thought that the boogie wouldn't work out too well for me until I realized that it does stop, not sleep or chaos.
Yeah, it's pretty useful for a couple other fights too. I think it can be used on Massa and Mune if you're doing that early and you happen into... Ooh, Dash Ring. We talked about Dash Ring earlier.
We did, yeah. I mean, we could kick that onto Robo. Might actually be a better idea to kick it on a Luca, though.
Yeah, it depends what their speeds are sitting at now. Because you ideally you want to get Luca's speed as close to Ayla's as you can. So that you can dual tech really easily with them.
Did you see if anyone has the haste helm equipped?
Well, we're about to find out. Oh, he's just switching Ayla to the front. And
So
that
that's
is to set up a trick up ahead. Not really a trick, but just a strategy up ahead.
I know the exact strategy you're thinking about.
And it's a good play. Although if he's got a gold earring, you can skip all of that and just equip the gold earring, and it'll give you enough HP that it won't heal you. Like, it doesn't, it just sets your max HP up. It doesn't heal you to that. So equipping a gold earring will also set you up perfectly for Dino Tail.
That is another thing that's good to know that I did not know. I'm learning all sorts of things today.
I always say you should learn one thing new each run you watch or play. For as long as you can, anyway.
I've learned several things today. That's awesome, I guess.
Oh, he hits 1, the worst number to hit. Feels bad.
I wonder if in that instance would it have just been easier to have killed him.
Perhaps, and maybe it was dropping something cool, but I think you're okay either way. And now, we're gonna see Ayla stand in front of some fireballs for a minute. This is, of course, to set up their health for... Oh, that way she can dash ring too. Very nice. That'll make this section very easy. This is setting up her HP to be low, because Dino Tail does more damage the lower your HP is. Then if you're ever not sure if, like, equipping a gold or silver earring gets you enough damage, you can use it in this fight to see what your damage is at.
So, I did notice one other thing in that menu, is that he forgot to equip the Wonder Shot again.
Or maybe he just bought it for the swag.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can support that. I mean, swag is awesome, but I mean, if you're gonna be selling like amulets and stuff to buy it, you might as well use it.
It probably doesn't save time anywhere. Like, for the rest of this run, anyway. So he probably just bought it because it was there. I know Procky pretty well, and that would not be above him. Oh no, Shimmy saying it really is a wonder why he isn't equipping it.
That joke was bad, and you should feel bad.
He does. See ya, Jen Vargas.
Dropping hyper ethers, which isn't bad at all.
Now, he may not have enough magic. I can't remember if there's 1 or 2 more encounters left.
No, I think the last one is just the only one that you actually do the Dino Tail for is this one.
Yeah, you really need it for that. It'll get you through all the others in one hit too, but this is the one that really loses you time if you don't have it.
Yeah, it's just... Why would you do that? That's just a mean thing to do.
Oh, that's like, you don't think about it in Jets, but in Vanilla Chrono Trigger, they give you single target magic, and then they send you into Hectron Cave. And that is a jerk thing to do.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, so here's a whole bunch of groups of enemies. You have a single target. Just, why would you do that? I mean, why? There must be a reason. I mean, who hurt you, man?
I think they want you to play around with it and realize, like, oh, it doesn't hit multiple enemies, and then later they give you AoE magic, and you're like, oh, because now you've struggled through how it is to not have it. But it's interesting because in Jets it's never an issue because you're always gonna have almost always gonna have an AoE magic.
I cannot pronounce that name.
Angerel.
Angerel
Angerel.
86. I've never thought to do that.
Yeah. Falcon Hit can be okay in Jets too for that because it's a full AoE instead of a line in Jets. So if you have enough damage for it to one-shot, you can one-shot that fight with Falcon Hit.
So I'm expecting another boogie.
Yep.
Yep, there it is.
See a boogie, and then whatever spectacular item he got from the first golem, he's gonna get another.
Of course, Flare, because isn't Flare effectively the most damaging spell in the game?
It is outside of like duels and triples. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, typically you think that it's Magus with Dark Matter, but as it turns out, Flare is pretty awesome.
So we are coming up on 145 into this run.
Do you know what the world record is?
Well, Dipwood had just set, I think, a 148, so we're not going to see a new world record. But sub 2s are incredibly rare. There have only been 2 or 3 sub 2 hour times that I've seen.
I'm not sure if this one's going to be a sub 2, because there's still kind of a lot of a slog to go through. But it will definitely be a low 2 if it makes it there.
I think he could pull off a sub 2 because he's got extra damage and extra levels, and this team is going to be very efficient for Lavos.
Yeah.
It'll be close. It'll be close, because usually you say about 15 minutes for the Lavos gauntlet.
Well, we're at 15 minutes to the 2 hour mark, so it's...
He's trying to decide if he wants to save, and he is going to. It's worth it just to shelter. Get that extra MP.
Yeah, I myself, I do, I follow the save early, save often ethos.
Absolutely.
And Anguiel posted that Flare Luminaire had the same spell power, but it's Luca's magic score that makes the difference.
Yeah, for sure, because Chrono's magic is pretty overpowered in vanilla because you get so many extra levels and extra stats on him. But in Jets, his weaknesses show a bit more, and his spell power is pretty atrocious compared to almost all the other characters.
Yeah, he's basically a strict attacker, especially if you stick him with like a swallow or a rainbow. Otherwise, leave him at home.
We're probably going to see Uzi punches, triple kick, and then probably straight into blaze kicks if he has them. Oh no, he's just going straight. No dual techs. No one's working together. We're just hitting as hard as we can. Take advantage of his high speed on everyone.
Yeah, in most instances, that is the better play to make, because I mean, they don't hit quite as hard, but I think the double techs...
well, the dual techs usually get the damage for both multiplied. Like, I think Blaze Kick is, like... I don't remember the percentage, but some of the dual techs are like 1.5 times flare damage, or 1.5 times this tech's damage.
Yeah, it's usually 1.5 times. It's kind of the prevailing theme. I'm not sure about Antipode, though, because Antipode hits really hard.
And there goes the shell, as we will head into the save point, and then the final Lavos Gauntlet to end this run and crown our champion. the first annual Jet Out of Darkness champion. It'll either be Lavos or Procky.
My money's on Procky.
And he heads into the second instance of this fight. And I gotta say, with how fast his team is and how strong his team is, Lavos 2, which usually can be a bit of a wall and a pretty big gamble, this fight could go pretty well as long as he gets the right text input quickly.
Yeah, that's the tricky part, is getting it done as quickly as you can. That's one thing that speedrunners kind of run into trouble with, is turning their speed up. I remember the very first time I tried a speed 1 seed on with ATB on. That was a bad time.
Yeah, no. There's no reason for that shenanigans.
No, I mean, Dino Tank was just doing some horrible, terrible things. But yeah, we're getting the appropriate amounts of damage off.
Yeah, this should take out the arms right here, I think.
Yeah, and then it's just straight on to the main body, and that's not going to take too terribly long, I don't think.
No, we definitely have a potential for a real nice time here, and I think Procky will pull it off. There goes the first arm, and there's probably going to go the second arm, and then we're going to see that obstacle. And I assume he's got full status protection on everybody at this point, with how many hats
Vigil
he's
hats. Yeah, like Vigil hats, Prism Helm, those will both do it. Luca, what are you
taking
doing?
a nap. He's looking for a dual tech, but he doesn't have one. So he decides to just hit it, and hit it hard. Shouldn't be much left here. A couple more techs and he ought to have this.
Yeah, like, another triple kick, and I think, yep, and Luca's up, so she could probably also toss a,
he feels confident. He's just trying to get off every little bit of damage he can without spending a bunch of consumables he may need in this next fight. It's a good plan, because he knows he's on the second half of this fight. And he just needs to finish it off so that he can get the menu glitch, heal up, and move on to the real challenge here. That should do it.
That did it. No drops about writing home about, but, you know, maybe if he does get this menu glitch, he'll cook the Wonder Shot.
Perhaps.
Seriously, man, this is just driving me up the wall. You have the Wonder Shot, you use it.
This is it.
Everyone strikes a pose. Chrono Trigger, the magical girl anime.
I'm telling you, he may have bought that Wonder Shot just because it was available.
If he does, I'm gonna be...
That's the most procky thing I've seen all day, is spending 52,000 gold on a Wonder Shot that we're pretty confident is sitting in Luca's backpack. And he's going left bit strats. He's got heavy amounts of damage, and he can two-shot left bit. This is gonna be a short one if center bit doesn't do something about it.
Yeah, that's...
He's just waiting for that defense to go down now so that he can blast him with some heavy AoEs and Mega Elixirs sitting in his pockets ready to go.
Yeah, because, I mean, Center Bit, he can do some bad things, like Grand Stone, Dreamless, just his karate chop can do severe damage, too.
Dealing heavy amounts of damage in one round of characters. Oh, and he doesn't have status protection on Luca.
That's a little strange. I would have expected at least a Prism Helm on him. Oh,
she can't equip the Prism Helm, can she?
She can. It's just the men who cannot equip Prism dresses.
Okay.
And
luckily he's got those heals.
Yeah, and I do recall that Luca is actually using the safe helm, so that's why she.
Ah.
Yeah. And he sold his amulet, so it doesn't do any good anyway.
I was gonna say he's probably gonna drop his Mega Elixir here just to keep hammering while the defense is down. We're sitting at about 6 or 7k damage. I don't know that this is gonna be a one cycle, but we've got 5 minutes left till 2 hours. I think it's gonna happen. I think it could.
I'm still very much on the fence. It kind of depends upon what happens at this point. Okay, so we dropped the left bit strats. We're just going straight right bit.
Yeah, I'm surprised about that. Not just going for the heavy flares, which... Oh, now he is going to go with the heavy flares. The heavy flares are going to deal enough damage to the center bit in a couple of them, where you're not going to have to worry about it too much. It is going to get her attacked, but he is not scared about their health. They all have insane HP values right now.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the HP amount. I wonder if he did the left bit strats first to keep away from getting the X strike or cross strike or whatever it is they call it in this game.
Yeah, it could be. It was definitely a good decision, I think. And we see just these massive spells going down. I'm surprised we're not seeing Blaze Kick, frankly.
Did we?
Oh, and that is time right there.
156.
So let me pull up the official time from the race. And I will put that in. So let me pull up the official time.
Yeah, you were right. That was a sub 2 seed. I don't know. Wow. I didn't know that was a thing you could do.
Yeah. And I think Procky has joined us. And he...
Hello,
is that
everybody.
your first sub 2, Procky? On Lost Worlds Plus?
It might be. I think I got really close once, but yeah, that's definitely a PB at least. But yeah, sub 2 PB, hooray.
Yeah, excellent. And I'm pulling up the room to get your official time. It's a 156.25.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a fun run. Didn't go perfectly. Ethers. Yeah, no ethers. And then at the end, I bought the Wonder Shot, and then I forgot to equip it. I was going to kill Lavos with it.
See, I told you.
Oh, so see, my theory was that was a Procky Wonder Shot swag strat where you buy it just to look nice in the backpack because it was for sale.
Just in the backpack, yeah.
And you may not need it.
No, typically once Luca's casting spells, you're never gonna even use Wonder Shot, even if you have it, because you can do more damage with Flare.
Yeah, it was still bothering me though.
It's always fun to kill Lavos with Wonder Shot, though.
I have to agree.
How could you not?
That was a remarkably fast level 3, by the way.
Yeah, I was once I entered my new game plus, I was like, oh boy, I don't have a whole lot of time here to sub 2, but the team was, strong enough to sort of plow through those last bosses really quickly, so
I was surprised there was no blaze kicking. Was there just too
yeah, I
big of a
know.
difference in speed?
Well, Luca never learned Fire 2, unfortunately, and I wasn't about to like grind her to get tech because, once I learned Flare, I was like, hey, I think we're good to go.
Oh, I thought she had a kick with Luca or Luca and Ayla that used Flare.
No, Fire 2 and triple kick is Blaze kick, and then I think there's also Flame kick, which I think is fire, and it's like fire and cat attack or something like that.
Oh,
it's
okay.
a low level
It'd
thing.
be fire and I want to say a jump kick.
Yeah,
Something like that.
it's something. Yay, Glenn!
Yay, Glenn!
Yeah,
Ooh.
Glenn. But that was a fun event. We're gonna have some other stuff going on some other channels from these events. But again, this was all for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and it is Jet Out of Darkness. We should be doing this again next year too. And Procky, you are the first official champion of the Jet Out of Darkness tournament.
Hooray!
As I think the second person ever to do a Lost Worlds Plus, that kind of makes sense. Because you were there about when I started doing them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think we were the first 2 guys to race it probably ever. And
yeah, and then Raster Cecil joined us for a couple races as well, which are always fun.
Yeah, it was too bad he couldn't participate in this, but things happen, and
yeah,
I hope more people get interested. Yeah.
But yeah, if anybody is interested in checking it out, check out the Discord. There's a ton of great resources and great people on there that are willing to take time to help you out in different ways. Guides, video tutorials. It's a good community. If you're interested at all, that's a great way to get into doing runs of this and try different categories. But that was a lot of fun, and I appreciate everybody who volunteered and helped with any of the events this month. Special shout out to SinisterShinigami, who took time out of his day to track for us today, even though he doesn't know all the dungeons in the game. But he was helpful, and of course Procky and TBG for helping out today, Dipwood for filling in last minute last week, and going on to perform in the finals. So this has been a lot of fun. We're going to have some special category runs coming up on my channel, which is twitch.tv/CthulhuCrisis. And then we're also going to have a Jackbox Jets party one of these nights where we're going to hang out for a few hours, play some Jackbox with as many of the guys from the community as I can get in.
Oh, I would be interested in that.
Yeah, well, that's coming up because that was a stretch goal on the donations. And thank you to everyone who donated. As of right now, we are at $240 raised out of our $300 goal. And there's still time. There just won't be events going on this channel. But there will still be some time before I do the actual walk here in a couple weeks. So it'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully everybody had a good time, and there will be more info to come in the chat, in the Jet Out of Darkness chat on the official Jets Discord. So thank you guys so much, and I think we're going to end it there.
It sounds like a plan to me.
So congratulations, Procky. That was a great run.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a good
take care, everybody.